Well, welcome back, everybody. It's great to be back with you after the Wealth 365 Summit, and thanks a lot for all the great feedback we got from that and the wonderful attendance, despite the fact that it was the summer, was just incredible. And so this week, I've been going ahead and, of course, focusing on so many of you. We have record numbers of Wealth Charts student family members joining, so I did training classes this week, welcome calls, and everything in between to help the team out. But thanks a lot for all the great ideas for the training. I'm glad we got to do that very special training this week as well. So as we go ahead now and transition into all of our student family, taking a look now, there's a couple key things I want to hit with you because this coming week is going to be very important. So first off, I want to remind everybody that we are sitting there with this very key resistance on the SPY. With the SP ETF there, it's a very important resistance. Of course, we've been talking about it for weeks and weeks and weeks as we come up near it. And here basically as we closed at it on Friday, what's happened is this is still a key resistance. And don't forget, we still have key resistance kind of coming down on us on a weekly basis here. So with that being said, now let's go ahead and drive it down into the day. This is very important. So right now, what happened was Thursday, we popped above that all-important channel. This channel I've been talking to you about for so long. We've been coiling up, right? So anybody who's long side biased or can only focus on long side trades, is especially bullish long side trades, is focusing on what's happening now. Basically, Thursday we popped up through the channel, and then Friday though we came right back down to the channel. So what happens next is going to be very important to the strategy. From a intraday perspective, there's going to when you're seeing those overbought areas like with the M pattern sells and you're coming up to this resistance. In fact, Thursday I did a training class and was saying, hey, look, don't get too excited about this yet. We're looking to see if this is going to pull right back down into the channel. And so, because if we pull back into the channel and it doesn't immediately start taking off into the beginning of the week and show that this is maybe now a support level, then we're still in kind of a holding pattern and focusing on very short-term type trades. So as we're looking at this now, so what happens Monday, and that is going to be very important. Do we continue to fall back into the channel, or do we start to launch off here, which could be very fun moves both intraday and from a swing trading basis. So we're going to be watching that. But do keep in mind there are some layers. Unfortunately, that's how it is right now. There's a lot of resistance coming down on top of us, both on a daily and a weekly basis. So that's why it's important. The first hurdle, first step is to the first steps were back here trying to eat away at the channel. The next step is pull back to the channel, show it's now support, not resistance, and start to take off. That has not happened yet. That's what I'm going to be watching into next week. But when we have these areas where we're overbought and we're hitting resistance and expecting to roll back over, that's where you get some great opportunities on an intraday basis, such as right here. The NASDAQ and the S&P futures both went ahead and generated a lot of sell signals coming in Friday morning, and boy, did they deliver. So with some wonderful moves to the downside. So don't forget, while you're sitting there biding your time for more comfortable swing trades, there's some wonderful intraday opportunities as well. And for, of course, all of you new Wealth Charters, reminder, every morning you can come into the live trading room in the morning and see what our thoughts are, kicking off into the hour of power for the markets each morning. So watch that. Now, as we go ahead and go from there, I want to actually remind people, I talked about the supply chain a lot earlier this year, and just remind people, we're seeing, we talked about specifically shipping companies, trucking companies. We've talked a lot of the things revolving around supply chain and food supplies. And what we're seeing here is a lot of these companies are doing very well. And we can see even when we do a sector analysis right now with sector scanner inside of Wealth Charts, you'll see a lot of trucking companies doing very well and performing very well with the different tools at our disposal. So I just want to kind of remind people, don't forget about some of those key the sectors that we've gone ahead and been focusing on there with you as well. All right. Then as we go ahead and take a look at the next thing, what I want to do is go ahead and look at some other markets people have been asking a lot about. So gold and crude oil. So as we look, first of all, let's start off with crude oil. So crude oil right now is, it's been performing very well. It had a lot of long side activity here, firing off throughout the beginning of this year. And had a really nice long side bias structure. However, that came to an end here back in June. And so now we're on more of a sell side structure for now. So not going to get real excited about crude oil for a little bit here. It's going to have some work to do, as you can see. It had a really, for several months, it was straight up there basically, but now we got a short-term pullback. So I don't want to be fresh buying, on this personally until such time as we can see that, this market's now turning back around and going green again, okay, for bull side purchases in crude oil. As far as gold, it's a similar thing. Gold, you guys recall back we even had gold bugs on the like the Wealth 365 Summit for, and I'd commented, and even when I was with Ralph, kind of commenting on long-term resistance on when he and I were doing the presentation here in July, back a couple weeks ago, kicking off Monday. There's a lot of resistance on gold, and so you can see it's got a really nasty downside structure here, and so I just want to remind people that I'm really not really terribly interested in long side on gold. Again, you can see the heavy selling that's been taking place here. And until we can turn the structure around and start pushing up, I'm not really thinking about just trying to catch the falling knife on it at this time. And if we put it in perspective, look at the long term. So this is kind of some of the things that we were talking about during the show on that. There's just a lot of resistance in the backdrop here, going back for many years. Let me actually get a better color for you guys to take a look at there. A lot of resistance in these areas, a lot of distribution bars right up here, all taking place. There's a lot of overhead distribution that has to be dealt with here. All right, in fact, let me just zoom those in so you can see them a little bit. Remember those bars that are roughly 45% or more off the high in the uptrend there, so you can go ahead and see this, and then notice what happened the last time we went and tried to push up into that area. It actually ended up making another distribution bar as it tried to go to the last one. And then right here, it made another distribution bar as it tried to go and pierce back into this distribution bar. So you can see there's clearly a lot of overhead resistance that people need to keep in mind on gold at this time. So we'll be watching this key support level very closely as well. So I'll try to give some updates on some of those things in the future here as well. But I want to share with everybody why I'm not shouting from the rooftops on gold and crude oil for bull side here, given all the risks and the negative signals that we've had on that for quite some time, frankly, as we can see here, months. All right, so those are a couple key thoughts. Don't forget, really heavily watching what happens into early next week. Thanks for being the world's greatest students, and I look forward to seeing you guys in upcoming videos. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.